one of the things that some observers have commented on is the fact that the attack on the Ukrainian energy grid lasted less than 6 hours.
Right.
Meanwhile, there was a physical attack on the transmission lines from Ukraine southward that essentially took out power for days and weeks. I don't know if they're still back on yet, right? So are the capabilities of cyber attack truly what we think they are? You know, could you blow up substations practically? Was potentially the cyber attack, was that a limited attack for some strategic purpose? Was it too rushed?
I'm glad you brought up that question. I'm glad you brought up that question because in many ways it raises, there's a Kim Zetter article in Wired.com which talks about this attack as a signal, right? But if you read through the articles, there's at least 3 different signals going on. You can't have one attack carry 3 different signals because it's just not the bandwidth in any one particular attack to do that. Right? Yes, it's just not clear what's going on. You know, on the one hand, Ukraine's cyber defensive capabilities aren't sophisticated by Western standards. Fortunately, however, their electricity management systems are also not sophisticated, so they could go back to manual mode in a few hours. There's a lot of talk that the hackers could have done more but somehow restrained themselves. I see that all the time. At one point, I'll see somebody not restrain themselves, right? So it's hard to know what to make of it. As you point out, blowing up a pylon really, really is a lot harder to work your way out of than fiddling with certain controls. So in the end, 225,000 people lost power for 6 hours. In Pepco's heyday, they used to be able to do that without even blinking. I have to say, if anybody from Pepco, they're a little better now. They're a little, at least in my neighborhood. Okay, so I don't want to razz on them totally. But you know, I mean, that's it, guys? That's what you have? So you still have a question mark, why they do it? And if I had to give the least absurd answer, it's they were just messing around seeing what they could do. No, I mean, seriously. If I'm gonna test a bomb, right? I drop it somewhere and I look at it. And if I drop it here, there, or anywhere else, it's gonna look pretty much the same. I can test it at home. To test a cyber attack, you have to test it against somebody else's system, right? And this is sort of, could be a series of what I would call operational test and evaluation attacks. Let's see what this can do. I might want to use it later. Because in fact, Russia has shown a certain inordinate interest in playing around with other people's electric grids. The 2 factors I would focus on, one is that in certain ways, both Ukraine and Russia are pretending there's no war going on, that it's a local conflict. And for Ukraine to attack Russia would change the nature of the conflict, and Russia to attack Ukraine in force would make it very difficult to make the argument that it's a civil war, because the rebels in the Donbass area just don't have enough hackers to be credible, right? If there's a lot of hacking, it's coming in from the Russian state.